center field, number 10, Colton Brightwell. And in right field, number 9, Gianni Cantini.
And we welcome you into continuing coverage of the 2023 American Legion Pennsylvania State Tournament here on the Westmoreland Sports Network. Opening day coverage continues. The third of 4 games played here at Rosa-Oglietti Park on the border of Latrobe and Derry. Here in Westmoreland County, this one pits Charleroi against Falls Post 8-3-4 for this, as we mentioned, third matchup on what will be a week-long tournament here in Latrobe. Sean Myers joined by Mark Katarski. Our producer today is Dan Flickinger. And Mark, obviously the first day, some of these teams unfamiliar with one another, but for the most part, they have to focus on what they have done all season long to get to this point, to continue their run.
No question. I think the ability to compartmentalize, there's obviously some pageantry that goes with the first day, the excitement of being in the state tournament and all that goes with it. But the reality is, if you can win on day one, you set yourself up for a shorter path to the championship, which is ultimately what these teams are trying to do. The prestige that comes with a state title, as well as the opportunity to extend your season, are all important. So I think the feeling out process has to speed up in order for these teams to get where they want to go.
Both of these teams are region champions. Falls from Region 3, Charleroi from Region 6. It is Charleroi playing as the home team, which means it's Falls that bats first, and the initial offering from Ashton Ray is a called strike to Wyatt Spinks. Look at the batting order for Falls, post 8-3-4. Spinks, wearing number 6, leading off, playing at shortstop. L.J. Nelson, the catcher, then follows as the count quickly 0-2 on Spinks. Nelson wears number 1. Then it's number 11, James Baker at second base. Eric David bats cleanup and right, wearing 22. Designated hitter number 8 is Ryan Cavanaugh. Nate Gilson at first base, number 20, follows him. 0-2 pitch at breaking ball, misses off the plate. Peter Hoffman in center field wears number 3. Chase Stover in left, number 12, and number 15, Kevin Pickard, the third baseman, rounds out the batting order for Falls Post 8-3-4. That fastball from Ray misses high. 2-pitch pitcher, fastball and a slider.
And he is not a slow one either. He gets right into the stretch, takes the sign and go. Remember, some of the pitch clock things you may have seen in college or in the professional ranks not existent here.
Bounce to third and to throw across a little low, but Ben Shields gets it to Remy Lessman to record the first out. Let's look at the defense for Charleroi. We mentioned Ashton Ray on the hill. He wears 17. He's thrown to number 13, Hunter Mamie. Left to right around the infield, it's number 8, Ben Shields, number 28, Chad Barrett, number 24, Lorenzo Glasser, and Remy Lessman, 19, is at first. Brock Henderson, number 2 in left. In center, it is Colton Brightwell, number 10, and Gianni Cantini out in right field, clad in number 9.
And Nelson leads the team in RBIs here out of the 2 spot in the order. And will also catch for the Falls. So an important spot here in the order for them to try to get some offense going.
1-0 in there for a strike. Falls in the regular season went 12-3-1, overall 17-4-1. They won the Lower Bucks County League. Bunt shown, pulled back as it's taken for a ball, and now the count goes 2-1 on Nelson.
Legion fans will be familiar, but those of you tuning in outside of that, wooden bats here in the league, so you'll just notice a different sound out there, maybe more traditional to some of those.
2-1 misses inside from Ray as the count goes 3-1. And so this is Region 6, Charleroi, but a team that's not all that far away from Latrobe. Charleroi competes in the WPIAL in terms of the high school, as that's in for a strike. And this Legion team is a combination of 3 high schools, all not too far away, less than an hour. Charleroi, Ringgold, and Bentworth comprise this Legion team for Charleroi.
The Magic City, I believe, Sean, Charleroi.
That's fouled back. So that general area, if you want to kind of extend to maybe the surrounding parts of Charleroi, has produced some incredible athletes. Some of the very best that football and baseball have ever seen.
It's really remarkable. You talk about the Ken Griffey Sr., Stan Musial, Joe Montana. just to name a few from the Ringgold area.
Which I don't think existed at that time, as this one's hit in the air left side and out of play. So I believe
Montana was a Ringgold grad.
Yes.
But I don't think yeah, right.
I believe they went to Denora High School, which does not exist.
Correct.
Although I don't know, does Denora now go to Bell Vernon, or do they go to Ringgold?
I think they're Ringgold.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was a merger that brought those. The Mid-Mon Valley is out of my purview of geography, but I've heard my father-in-law and father talk about those greats quite often.
Ball 4 as that slider misses away, and Nelson becomes the game's first base runner as he draws the free pass.
Batting third.
So Ken Griffey
Second
Jr.
baseman,
is my
number
favorite
11,
baseball player ever.
James
He was born in
Baker.
Denora, but he grew up in Cincinnati as his dad was a player there during his childhood. But he was actually born on the exact same day as Stan Musial.
It's almost as if somebody's pulling the strings up there.
Not same year, obviously, but
Right.
same day, November, I believe 22nd, maybe 21st. In for a called strike to Baker.
And that was a sneaky important at-bat there by Nelson. He was able to work the count, get some pitches. Remember, pitchers on a pitch count here, which, changes their days of rest. But to get a runner on in a position to try to threaten in the top of the first, obviously important, and to take the pitcher deeper into his count. And as you mentioned, the limited repertoire is important as well.
0-1. Catches the outside corner for a strike. Now, I know this is the first time, at least in a little while, that you've been to Rosa-Oglietti, but I spent the last 2 weeks here doing other baseball playoffs here on the Westmoreland Sports Network, a venue we're very familiar with, and a beautiful one at that, as that misses, and the count is now 1-2 on Baker.
Historic field out here over the years.
Throw over. Now, I've always just heard it described as on the border of Latrobe and Derry, because it's very, very close. And people even that grew up right around here might not be able to necessarily distinguish the difference. 1-2. Called strike 3. Down goes Baker for the second out.
Yeah, and I can see why Baker's shaking the head there a little bit. From his angle, that may have felt
Batting
away.
fourth,
But our home
fielder,
plate umpire and
number
this
22,
veteran crew that we have here today,
Eric
right on top of
David.
that, that's a slider that we've seen consistently from Ray, and his ability to place that resulted in a punch-out.
That brings Eric David to the plate. 417 batting average for him. That'll play as the throw over to first. Pete Hoffman, 20 years guiding Falls. And they've had some success, including making the state tournament last year. And so the different region champions all represented here, plus the host team, which is the Latrobe Jethawks, who were in their region's tournament, did not win it. That went to Beach Creek because that's in first strike. But Latrobe is more than simply just a token host team. They obviously have the talent to contend as well, even though they are the only team that did not claim a region title this season.
And that's standard practice.
This one's hit relatively deep to left. Henderson back, and now he comes in to make the catch and retire the side. No runs, no hits, one left. We played a half an inning, nothing on the board for Falls. And now let's take a look at the batting order for Charleroi, playing as the home team.
Defensively for Falls,
Charleroi under the
on the
guidance
hill,
of Luke
number
Mullis,
18,
eighth year
Gianni
guiding this Legion
Serenelli.
program. His lineup
Behind the
begins
plate.
with Chad Barrett.
number 1,
Barrett,
L.J.
the shortstop, who
Nelson.
wears number 28.
At first base,
Colton
number
Brightwell
20,
follows. He's a center
Nate
fielder clad at
Gilson.
number 10. Then it's number 8,
second
Ben
base,
Shields.
number 11,
He's at third base.
James
Remy
Baker.
Lessman, the first baseman,
Third
does cleanup,
base,
and
number
he is clad at
15,
number 19.
Kevin
Gianni
Pickard.
Cantini follows. In right field
Shortstop,
wearing number 9.
number 6,
Hunter Mamie, the catcher,
Wyatt
number 13.
Spink.
Then it's pitcher
Left
Ashton
field,
Ray, number
number
17.
12,
Brock Henderson,
Chase
out on
Stover.
left, clad in number 2.
Center
And
field,
Lorenzo
number
Glasser,
3,
number
Peter
24,
Hoffman. And in
is
right
playing
field,
at
number
second
22,
base. No
Eric
designated hitter
David.
for Charleroi. They're simply going with their 9, including the pitcher Ray, who will bat, so a little bit different of a strategy one side to the other. And that's the lineup that will face Gianni Serinelli, 3-pitch variety, fastball, curveball, changeup. He wears number 18. He's throwing to the catcher clad in number 1, L.J. Nelson. Third baseman is 15, Kevin Pickard. Wyatt Spinks, number 6, is at short. James Baker, number 11, is at second base. Number 20, Nate Gilson, patrols first base. Left to right in the outfield, 12, Chase Stover. 3, Peter Hoffman. And Eric David, number 22, rounds out the outfield defense for Falls Post 834. And so 7-inning games, obviously getting that lead is of the utmost importance. And when you play as the home team, you know you're going to have the last at bat if needed, but you still want to have some urgency here. For Charleroi, which enters with a record of 17-3 overall, including 12-3 in the regular season. They competed in the Fayette County League by way of Washington County. But we mentioned that Charleroi is not all that far from Westmoreland County. It actually borders Westmoreland County, which Belle Vernon primarily is in in Westmoreland County. So certainly players from Charleroi know very well about Latrobe.
Absolutely, not far away. And
Leading off for
we see
Charleroi,
Serinelli here on the mound for Falls. He's
Shortstop,
had the
number
third most
28,
innings pitched this year with 17
Barron.
on the team. And so remember, these teams, there could be a little bit of gamesmanship in terms of who you start, and those things are also coming off different rotations, rest, things like that. And these players have played all the way through the summer, so there's a ton of things with it. But Serinelli certainly has had innings this year and been important to this team, and hoping that they can hold them down here.
Well, yeah, the pitching approach is such a fascinating thing to watch unfold, because if you have a really good pitcher start today and he's cruising along, but the pitch count starts to get elevated deeper into the game, you have a decision to make. As first pitch swinging, this should help the pitch count as Spinks, the shortstop, throws across. 1 pitch, 1 out as Chad Barron is retired.
Spinks did a wonderful job there. This field, which they've kept in great shape, you know, you would expect some potential hops there through the grass. But Spinks did a wonderful job of just staying down on it the whole time, gathered it up, followed up his throw as he went to first, and that's 1 pitch, 1 out for Falls. Off to a great start defensively.
And I think there is very legitimate value in these pitchers finding a way to work efficiently. There's a strike. Obviously, the most important thing is keeping runs off the board, but I think of secondary importance, or maybe right behind run prevention, is keeping that pitch count lower so that you give yourself the opportunity to either go deeper in this game or to check out and come back and pitch a few days down the road, as that misses inside and the count's now 1-1 on Brightwell.
To your point, Sean, I would think Pete Hoffman does not anticipate this being the only time that Serinelli pitches this week. And, you know, could that be later in the week as they win? You know, could it be a relief effort? I mean, who knows? But I think they would love to be able to keep his arm and use multiple arms, clearly, as the week goes on.
If you throw 30 or fewer pitches, you can then come back and operate the next day. If you throw 31 to 45, it requires a day of rest. 46 to 60 is 2 days. 61 to 80 is 3 days. If you go over that, it's 4 days rest, which Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 4 days rest means you're probably not pitching again unless this tournament gets really pushed back because of rain or something else unexpected, as that misses. And then in a single game, you can throw 105 pitches with the ability to finish an at-bat. If it starts shy of 105 but then exceeds it during the at-bat, you can finish that at-bat. You would not have to get pulled right at 105. But you go above 80, and in all likelihood, that does it for the pitcher in this tournament, as this one's hit out to left. And Stover ranges over to put it away. Brightwell is the second out here in the bottom of the first.
And hats off to the powers that be for having the pitch counts. I mean, obviously that is player safety and well-being at the top of it.
Number 8.
And you know, those things are well intended as they do it. And Serinelli, they're able to get it. I think the wind's blowing in a little bit, so these balls are just hanging up a little more than you might think. Would bat as well, but this field certainly has enough room into the gaps to find some holes there. But so far they've been finding leather gloves in the outfield.
Shields with the sleeves rolled up a little bit. Takes a first pitch ball. It is hot today, but it's going to be even hotter as this week progresses.
Does that mean the baseball, Sean, or the weather?
Yes.
Okay.
And that plunks Shields as he'll take his base and quickly pull out the oven mitt. Looks like he's A-OK. Anticipate potentially Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all 3 days, temperatures will exceed 90 degrees.
Remy Lessman.
That is atypical. And for baseball players, sure, you're not running nonstop, but you still have to find a way to stay cool and to obviously be hydrated.
No, and let's not forget our boys in blue out there. They're out there both offense and defense. And 4-man crew here, as is a custom this time of year. So you'll see some unique things with their mechanics, but they put in great effort, and they qualified to be here as well. These are some of the best ones available to work these games.
A curveball misses as it's ball 1. Well, it's a beautiful day today. We said it's going to be hot this week. There is a chance maybe of a little bit of a rain, but I know that this field is well conditioned to withstand any normal amount of rain that has been witnessed over the last couple of weeks here at Rosa-Oglietti, as that misses inside.
And the first baseman, Nate Gilson, yes. When you see him over there at first, he's actually off the base. He's at least a full step off.
So he's sort of hedging his bet, I would suppose.
That's one way to digest it.
2-0. Big swing and a miss from the lefty.
I'll really date myself here, but former Seinfeld star Keith Hernandez was always known to almost get into foul territory. I think it was for the angle a little bit. So it's unique to see. We've also seen first basemen over the years come in front of them in the bunt situation and catch it that way. The Mets popularized that in the early 2000s. So it's just a unique thing to see there.
That misses away. Did he spit on Kramer?
It was the Magic Loogie.
Ah.
I think he and Newman really dove into that one.
Yeah.
And Elaine had a thing with Keith Hernandez, and Jerry was none too pleased about that.
Was that before he started using Just for Men?
And I think he smoked, and that's what Elaine didn't like about him.
Runner at first, 2 outs, bottom of the first, and ball 4. So a hit batter followed by a free pass for Serenelli.
And Nelson, the catcher, really veteran mover, called time. Going to go out and just try to calm his guy down a little bit. Serenelli got off to such a good, quick start, and then the 2 walks in a row. And so, this talk could be anything from, hey, we're going to the second sign, third sign type thing, to just, hey, you're good, bud, or, make sure that you breathe through your eyelids, or any of the Bull Durham type cliches. But really just trying to settle. And this far into the season, these guys know each other and have a sense of what works and the chemistry that goes with it.
Cantini at the plate. Batting with 2 outs and a couple of runners on. Scoreless here in the first frame. That's down the pipe for a strike. Someone in the parking lot's not happy.
Yeah. 2 Giannis here going at it.
Yeah. First baseman playing back on the edge of the infield now. 0-1. Swinging a foul tip as it stays into the glove of Nelson. The count is 0-2. In the preceding game, Paxton with an 11-5 victory over Beach Creek. And the first game today, Quakerstown via shutout, 4-0 over Greater Pittston. So Quakertown moves on in the winner's bracket. Paxton moves on in the winner's bracket. Double elimination tournament. So the best way to avoid getting bounced in a double elimination is don't lose the first
As far
time.
as I know,
Yes.
Sean, I'm no mathematic expert, but I think if you win, then you don't get doubly eliminated.
That's correct, yes.
Yeah. You see how important his first inning is. Spinks out at shortstop, giving Serenelli some signs, trying to hold the runner on. Just keep him a step or two close in case a base hit goes.
And this one's hit right to him on a hop, and he will throw over to first, and that is in time as Cantini grounds out to retire the side. No runs, no hits, 2 left. We've played an inning scoreless. We head to the second. It's the Pennsylvania American Legion Tournament right here on the Westmoreland Sports Network.
You just mean 1 and 2, right? Okay.
That's exactly right, yeah.
Pretty boy. Hey, pretty boy. David Damien is fully out. Number 5 there.
There are 7 There is no region. And that's kind of 7 in there. Right, 7 in there. So when I put them in order, I use the host kind of as region 1. When I do my roster, I put the host as 1 and all the other 7. Yes, there are 7 overall.
Leading off for Falls, designated hitter number 8.
We head to the
Ryan
second inning scoreless.
Kavanaugh.
Third game of the 4 played here today for the Pennsylvania American Legion State Tournament on the Westmoreland Sports Network. We will bring you action of every single game all week long. And it is 5, 6, 7 in the batting order for Falls. Bunt shown, but it's ultimately taken for a strike by Kavanaugh.
We've said that a few times from the Falls, excuse me. Falls, excuse me. I keep saying the Falls because I lived in the Falls, Niagara Falls, for a few years. But we've
This
seen
is
them.
just a Falls.
Yes. There were several falls, multiple falls up there. But they've shown bunt a few times, and that could be a bunch of things. It could be we're just going to take the pitch. It could be trying to get on. It also could be see how they move defensively as well to go with it. But that's something that has happened a few times here throughout the early going.
The count 0-2 on Kavanaugh. And that's fouled out of play. Route 981 runs along this field. Familiar roadway in this area. Race set, delivers. Slowly to second. Glasser waits on it and throws across. Kavanaugh is the first out.
Great pitch there by Ray. He really likes that slider late in the count and likes to work it away. And he was able to really catch Kavanaugh off speed, and all Kavanaugh could do was just kind of touch it the other way, and really, really good job. You and I talked before going on that with 2 pitches, you were a little, we were a little concerned. Just Ray may not have a lot, but you can see how he plays these 2 off each other. That slider is able to have a few different iterations, fast and slow, and he does such a good job locating. There he is right there, bringing the slider inside on a lefty, working it away from the righties. So far, so good.
The count 0-1 on Gilson, batting from the left side. And he hits this one out to shallow right center, and that will fall in. Brightwell plays it on a hop, but the first base knock for Falls comes on a bloop single.
And that wasn't quite a broken bat, but it didn't sound pure, and that is the result oftentimes with the wooden bats. And it's our initial hit of the game, Sean.
That fell in front of Brightwell. He, a 19-year-old, plays at Teal, one of 2 players for Charleroi who play college baseball in the PAC, the President's Athletic Conference. Chad Barrett, the shortstop, competes at Bethany as a big swing and a miss from Hoffman. Bethany is in West Virginia, one of 2 schools, I believe, in the PAC that is not in Pennsylvania.
I believe that's right, Sean.
Franciscan, the other. Swing and a miss, and Hoffman's not getting cheated on these swings.
Look for slider here. 2 options. It's the backdoor slider. On the outside, or it's that inside one we've seen. And Ray does have 2 different speeds with it we've seen so far. So this may be the off-speed one.
Off the end of the bat in the air, and Barrett, the shortstop, makes the catch. Routine play, goes for out number 2.
Next up, left fielder, number 12,
And so that brings Stover to the plate.
Chase
Well, we
Stover.
mentioned we're here in Latrobe.
Or Derry, or right
Yes.
on the border.
Yes. And so Latrobe, even if you're not from Western Pennsylvania, you've probably heard of Latrobe or certainly have heard of some of the things or people who have come by way of Latrobe, as that misses. Now, later this week, it's going to get crazy around here. That's because there's a football team that's going to be coming to this town.
Stillers.
Yes, training camp for the Pittsburgh Steelers at St. Vincent College, which is in Latrobe, although if you want to be technical, Unity Township, but all the same for most, as that misses. And so that was, I don't know what, maybe 4 miles from here?
Yeah, the other side of town. Not to be funny, but it's sort of right on. We're on the eastern side of Latrobe, and that'd be more on the western side. And they're one of the few teams that still goes away.
Oh, that one, I think, ricocheted maybe off of both catcher and umpire. Certainly caught the umpire on the foul tip. And so I mentioned that it's at St. Vincent College. That's another school that competes in the PAC along with Teal and Bethany that we just mentioned. But St. Vincent, of course, everyone turns their attention from late July to about mid-August when Steelers training camp takes place. For many, many years now, it has been held at St. Vincent, and they often will do a practice on Friday night in the city of Latrobe at the high school football stadium downtown.
Memorial Stadium, yeah. Which is the debated home of the first professional football game.
Yes. Before your time, right?
A few years.
Yes.
I just turned 46 a month ago, Sean.
Oh, happy belated birthday by a month. Swing and a miss. And that will do it for the top of the second. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. We head bottom 2. It's scoreless between Falls and Charleroi. First day of the Pennsylvania American Legion State Tournament on WSN.
Folks, don't forget, if you're getting hungry or thirsty, concession stand is open and has plenty of refreshments to take care of any needs you may have.
Yeah, 33 for 3. 33 for 3? 33 for 3. Thank you.
Leading off for Charleroi, the catchers, number 13, Hunter Mamie.
We head bottom second, and our first substitution of the game as John Begley takes over in center field, replacing Peter Hoffman. That's a very early substitution, just an inning and a half in.
Yeah, and that's not to be confused with Pete Hoffman, the manager of Falls. So
obviously, something prompted that change.
Yeah.
So now it is Begley patrolling center, and there is no re-entry. So Hoffman got his one at bat, and his day is done. It's Mamie at the plate for Charleroi here. Bottom of the second, scoreless. Sean and Mark here on the Westmoreland Sports Network.
Mark and Sean, actually.
Well,
Yeah.
so that's the thing that Jack does. As that is hit sharply out the left, and a leadoff single for Mamie. So Jack, our good pal and colleague who did the first 2 games today with Roger Downs, he has this habit, and I've tried to help him out, and he doesn't listen. He's not the first person, won't be the last.
What's
Now
that? What did you
batting,
say, Sean?
Where
Number 17.
when he's like coming
The
back from a
pitcher,
break or introducing the broadcasters,
Ashton Ray.
he says Sean Myers and Jack Ridenhour. He says it, and it's really confusing because he's making it seem as though he's me and vice versa. He doesn't say Sean Myers and I'm Jack Ridenhour. He just says Sean Myers and Jack Ridenhour. So he says the other person's name first, as that catches the outside corner on a bunt that was pulled back by Ray. And so I told him, like, you're kind of confusing everyone. So if I introduce you first, I would say the legendary Mark Katarski,
That's right. Well, that's more
and I'm
appropriate.
Sean Myers.
Right,
And so
that's
now
more
everyone
appropriate.
understands, yeah.
Yeah. Oh!
And he is out at first. Mamie caught leaning a little bit, is picked off. He's not happy, can't believe it. He's got a uniform covered in dirt as a result, but he goes for the first out of the frame.
Yeah, that one felt weird, and the ball beat him. So the combination's usually going to go to that. And again, with 4-man crew, the umpire right behind it, great angle to do it, was able to get the out.
And a new baseball will be sent out to Serenelli.
You know, one of the things, and I'm not saying it happened, but with that first baseman, Gilson, being off the bag, he could be a hair susceptible to some obstruction, potentially.
Yeah.
But obviously, I think Mamie was just caught really leaning the wrong way, as you said, and there was really no need, assuming the bunt was on, just kind of let it get on the ground.
There's a swing and a miss, and so the count's now 0-2 on Ray.
And the life just sort of went out of Charleroi on that.
Well, they can get it right back if Ray can come through here. They had the option to bat for him with a designated hitter, opted against it as he takes that away. It's Ashton Ray at the plate. Dave Ray is one of the assistant coaches for Charleroi and is the scorekeeper. Nothing draws the ire of players and fans more than a controversial verdict by the scorekeeper.
Those darn scorekeepers.
Yes, indeed. Good pitch there, called strike free as Ray was frozen, and he is the first strikeout victim of Serenelli. And so now a promising inning at the start
Next up
is bases
left
empty,
fielder,
2 outs.
Number 2, Brock Henderson.
It's Henderson who comes to the plate. Mentioned Charleroi comprised of 3 WPIAL high schools, WPIAL District 7, that is primarily comprised of southwestern Pennsylvania. Those 3 schools, obviously Charleroi is one of them, Ringgold and Bentworth. That misses perhaps high to Henderson.
In Bucks County, that's out near Reading. Would that be right, Sean? In that vicinity?
That's why we have Google, my friend.
Ah, you kids and your technology.
Yes, and I believe some of those, look out, that one hindsight. Some of the directional Bucks schools, I believe, are absolutely massive out there.
Yes. Yeah.
I think there's like a Central Bucks South, that just,
and a West or an
Yeah.
East or something, right? Yeah.
and so it's, we have some bigger schools around here, but man, you get out there and it these ones pale in comparison. Inside corner of the plate, it's a good looking pitch. And so 3-1 on Henderson. This one in the air, but out of play.
Yeah, what's the county seat? Is that what you're looking up? Let's see the county seat of Bucks County. Is it for
My phone's not really cooperating, but so there it is, just north of Philadelphia.
I'm
Just,
off then.
just outside
Yeah.
is Allentown.
My geography's off. Mr. Gorinsky, my 8th grade geography teacher, will be disappointed.
Well, you're allowed 1 mistake per day here.
So I'm double elimination too, Sean.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
We'll be bringing the nightcap as well after this one concludes.
Sarinelli with a sort of Rich Hill oomph there at the end. Trying to get this
grunt.
one over the hump. Yeah.
Now, have you ever seen Robbie Ray? He is every pitch grunting as loud as humanly possible.
Like a tennis player.
Yeah, it's obnoxious at times. As that misses, ball 4, and Henderson's aboard to continue the bottom of the second. But if you win a Cy Young,
Do whatever you want.
yeah, I mean, it works, obviously.
Now batting, number 24, second baseman.
Have you been doing Immaculate Grid at all?
Lorenzo
Pardon me?
Glasser.
You don't know Immaculate Grid?
No. Oh, I did hear about this.
Yes,
Yeah.
I forced Roger for like a week straight to do it. Maybe I'll quiz you later on the air. It's fun. I think you're knowledgeable enough.
Well,
as a
thank you for
swing and a
that.
miss that you might be able to do all right. Today, I actually got the perfect 9 out of 9.
Wow.
Yeah. Number 9 hitter Glasser here.
And he's a 300
lineup.
hitter, Sean, for being the 9th guy. And there they go again. They had him leaning a little bit.
You often hear your number 9 hitter is the second leadoff hitter. Now, whether or not teams fully believe that all the time is a different story, but I think there is some value if you have a high average on base type of guy with good speed batting 9th. It can certainly create some problems for the opposition if he gets on.
No, I was going to say, with Henderson getting on, it's a subtle little move that could pay off for Charleroi. You get number 9 here, and if he is serving as a second leadoff, maybe you keep some 2-out lightning going. And at the minimum, you turn the order over to start at the top of the order. Remember, before the DH, Tony La Russa played around with moving the pitcher to 8 and then having a position player bat 9th as a way to try to just steal an at-bat or two. And
did Joe Madden do that as well?
I think he was doing it too. Yep.
So
and then
you mentioned Glasser. He's got a good batting average. The other thing about Glasser is he's an outstanding pitcher. He's got really just terrific numbers on the mound this season. And so obviously he's a very talented overall player. And typically, if you get to this point of the season, you've got some real good depth, but I don't know that many teams have a player of his caliber batting in the number 9 spot.
I think it's a very, very fair point. And, well, I'm sure we'll see him on the mound at some point over the next few days. And 2-1 here, 2 outs. Do you put him in motion? We'll see here. There he is.
There goes the runner. And, I think that caught. Yes, it did hit Glasser. I'm not sure where exactly, but he's okay, and that's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
It seemed like it almost tipped the top of his helmet or the.
That's what I saw, Sean, from where I was, and Sarinelli just seems off here a little bit. So the coach is going to come out. Could just be shook up from hitting him there with it, but they're just going to try to settle him down.
Is
here.
it the bill of his helmet? Would that be the proper term?
Yes.
Okay.
The judges? Yes, we'll accept that. They're going to make a move here, it looks like. No? Top of the order, that's all.
Yes. Yeah. I think you saw the same thing that I did.
Yeah.
But, so, again, this is something where you have to weigh how do we want to approach. And I'll say this. Almost every manager has a plan for the entire tournament coming in, and then they have to obviously be able to adjust.
Right.
But you probably know if Sarinelli's pitching decently, we want to get him here, but we don't want him getting beyond here type of deal.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And then I think, too, we talked about how important it is to take the lead and win this game. This very easily could turn into a 2 or 3 run lead in a swing of a couple bats. So you want to make sure you keep it within it. We haven't seen a ton of runs. 11 runs in the first game, second game, but 4-0 in the first game. So I think runs are at a premium, especially with the wood bats.
And this one gets past Nelson, and he can't find it. And that's a helpless feeling. So both runners advance on the wild pitch. There's not a ton of room behind home plate here compared to maybe some other fields, but certainly enough that it typically will be an opportunity for advancement. And so now 2 in scoring position. And as we mentioned, it is the top of the order in the form of Barrett. That misses inside. Did you see these questionnaires that all the players filled out?
They're like the Little League World Series. I love it.
Yes. And so we will mix some of these in periodically. Serenelli is a business major. That's in for a strike. I was thinking
Is he a businessman or is he a businessman?
I was trying to there we go. I was trying to think of some way to tie that into he's all business right now or something like that.
Well, remember EPMD, you won't, some do, or rap group, late 80s, early 90s, every album had the word business in it.
That's fouled back. Now,
So
sometimes it's a little hard to read the handwriting,
Yeah.
but I believe in the part that says, tell us something about yourself, I believe he says, I enjoy rifting. Am I reading that correctly?
Lifting, because hobbies then are lifting and swimming.
I am an absolute dog.
Good for you, G. Good for you, Gianni. D-O-G or D-A-W-G?
That's a D-A-W-G, I believe.
I believe. Yeah.
2-2. And that's taken for ball 3.
I liked it. I liked the idea. He felt it as soon as it left his hand that it was a little further away than he wanted, but I really liked that pitch and the location. Full count here. You do have the base open, but it's best pitch. Barrett, one of the better hitters. Probably don't want to load it up. So we'll see what we go with here. I'm saying inside fastball.
And now he's going to step off. His favorite television show, Serenelli? SpongeBob.
Well, it's hard to go wrong with that.
There you go. Two on, 2 outs, scoreless, bottom of the second on a beautiful Monday here in late July. Payoff pitch, ball 4, bases loaded.
That's not, it's thought inside, but he went off speed. That was interesting. And
Next up, number 10.
the umpire hung in there on it, and I think rightfully called that a ball. And this is all with 2 outs, Sean. What seemed like a really innocent walk there to Henderson is now turned into bases loaded.
Well, it's been a walk, hit, bat, or walk. So without swinging the bat, Charleroi has the bases loaded. Started with a single by Mamie, but he was picked off. And then Ray, a strikeout victim. First pitch swinging, Brightwell sends it out of play towards the parking lot.
Hopefully not towards a 2006 Honda Accord. Or actually it should hit it because of being a 2006.
Are you driving that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
See, I thought my car was old.
I'm close to being a collector's item. Antique car. I could go to the Cars cruises with mine.
Yeah, that would fit right in. This one is hit out to shallow center, and it falls, and that will score at least one. Making the turn is Glasser. He will score. It's a 2-run single, and now moving up to second is Brightwell. It's 2-0 Charleroi.
What a big, big hit there by Brightwell. It just felt like if they could get past Glasser, something might click. And a little wood bat blooper nets 2, and they got 2 in scoring position now as
Now
well.
batting number 8, Ben Shields.
So Barron gets to third. Henderson easily scored from third, and Glasser able to scoot around from second, representing the first couple of runs of this contest.
And I think they gave a throwing error there to the center fielder to allow them to move up.
Okay, so E8 has Brightwell in scoring position. Barron at third. This one is blooped, and that will fall in front of the right fielder, David. 1 run is in. Here comes Brightwell. He will score. All of a sudden, in a blink of an eye, it's 4-0. Don't have to hit it hard. Just has to be well placed, and that's exactly what first Brightwell and now Shields were able to do.
Now batting number 19.
Just hit them where they ain't. That's what they did back-to-back, and were able to make the 2 walks, the hit batsman, and the E8. Let's not forget that. Add up there, and all of a sudden Charleroi with a 4 spot here in the bottom of the second.
And now they have their cleanup hitter at the dish in Lessman.
And Serenelli, the body language has just changed, which you can understand. through this tough time, and hopefully he can get it back for him and his team.
First pitch ball. Lessman drew a walk in the first inning. We're here bottom 2 at Latrobe's Rosa-Oglietti Park, the home of the Latrobe Dairy Area Teener League. And for this week of the Pennsylvania American Legion Baseball Tournament, as this is hit out to left, and in foul territory, Stover makes the catch, and that will do it for the frame. But 4 runs come across on just a couple of hits. We've played 2 innings at Charleroi, 4 Falls nothing, as we continue the state championship tournament for American Legion on WSN.
Folks, growing up, we used to go to my grandmother's house every Sunday for dinner. And the best thing about being a kid on Sunday dinner was the hot apple pie that Grandma always had for dessert. I have had apple pie since then, but none are as good as Grandma's, except for the concession stand hot apple pie wall. If you get a chance, go up. They have a nice icing on them. They're very good, and they are hot. So make sure you try our hot apple pie walls.
Like that? See Dan give me a job.
We head to the 3rd inning, and 4 runs, all scored with 2 outs, has Charleroi in front 4-0 over Falls Post 834. I'm Sean Myers, joined by Mark Katarski here on WSN. Number 9 hitter leading off in the form of Kevin Pickard for Post. And even if you don't get 4 right now, you want to start chipping away and get momentum maybe back on your side. First pitch nearly hit the batter.
Yeah, and obviously an important inning for Falls. You know, they're going to get to the top of the order. You may only see the top of the order twice in the rest of the game. So to get there and try to get some production here in the 3rd would be really important.
This one slowly to second, Glasser. In no hurry, throws across and retires Pickard.
Now batting, number 6, Wyatt Spinks.
So there's a bit of a conundrum here with Falls, you know, is you go after the pitches, you could be feeding right into Charleroi, who has a great pace and momentum going. But if you get too patient, Ray's pitched pretty well, so you may be looking at good pitches going by. It's a really tough spot to be in. That's a good pitch by Ray. That's one that he's really thrown well. That slider, you can kind of see it coming from his hand, and then he's just able to place it really well. Really been impressed his ability to mix these 2 pitches.
That one was a ball. That's well high. It's now 2-0 on Spinks. We were up in the press box, so even when the sun is shining, we're mostly going to be protected from it, as that finds the zone. But if you're coming here today, tomorrow, at all this week, probably bring some sunblock.
What's his name? Mighty Mouse is Wyatt's nickname.
Yes. Fouled back.
Let's go, Mighty Mouse.
Now, did you say that loud enough so that he could actually hear you?
That was my hope. But nobody really listens to me.
Chestnut Hill College.
Yes,
his
the Griffins.
future destination.
They're the Griffins.
You know something about Griffins. 2-2.
So
straight back.
when I was at Chatham, we were in the same conference. There was a women's college conference, and so the 3 Griffin schools in the NCAA would be Chestnut Hill, Seton Hill, and Canisius, or as we referred to them when I worked at Niagara, that's School on Main Street.
Fouled back. Seton Hill is maybe 15, 20 minutes away from here, located in Greensburg. Some notes about Spinks. I'm a dog, and I'm him. Now,
Yeah.
Austin Reeves of the Los Angeles Lakers was heard shouting that in the playoffs this year. It was flipped over. Nice play by Ray as he retires Spinks. Did that crack the bat at all?
It sure sounded like
They're
it.
looking at it.
Now batting, number 1, L.J. Nelson.
And you saw Ray there fielding his position well, which we're required to say anytime a pitcher gets an assist.
Yes.
But he went with the underhand, jog over an underhand. And it's interesting to always see the different ways that pitchers do that. Some may be momentum driven, some may be coached. But there's been more issues with that throwing over than would seem normal. Oh,
That, I believe, also hit the batter, and it did. Nelson, we've seen a couple of batters hit right around the helmet or in the helmet. And fortunately, everyone seemingly has been okay.
Now batting, number 11, James Baker.
So Nelson makes his way down, and that brings Shake and Bake to the plate.
yeah, buddy. What else do we know here about James?
Well, his favorite type of music is country.
Baker?
Anything stand out about that? Are you a country guy at all?
I don't hate country.
So you're not a country music fan.
I wouldn't say that. But
His
I would
favorite
say
NCAA team is Kutztown.
yeah, they are the Golden Bears. That's right. I should know that. We've struggled with Kutztown as of late. So
Okay, so
I
this-
kind of have that blocked out of my head.
Yeah, that's probably for the best.
Yeah.
This is going to tie into something that I have a story about. His favorite movie is The Sandlot.
Ah,
Okay, now you're going to be really salty at me, but I participated in a heralded baseball movie draft recently.
oh,
Do you know about this? I mean,
I have
it made
heard.
big news all around town.
yeah.
So,
With some other luminaries.
well, that's debatable, but yes.
Okay.
So, Josh Roundtree is a
Yep.
host on 93.7 The Fan here in Pittsburgh, Sports Talk, as that misses, and it counts now 2-1. And so at the end of his show on the weekend, you can kind of just do whatever you want when it's a weekend show, right? He decided that he wanted to involve me and his producer, Nicholas Harry Callis, who is very well known for his peculiar, oh, that one bounces off of Henderson, but no advancement on a 2-out single. So Nick Callis is a little different, as am I, to be honest. And so we had
Next
us
up,
three
number 22.
do this draft. And so we each got 5 picks.
David.
Nick went first, I went second, Josh went third, but it was a snake draft.
Double up.
Yeah, so I
Yeah,
never got
fantasy
to
football
I
style.
never got to pick 2 consecutive,
Yeah.
but they each did.
I tried
Which-
to explain that to our daughters the other night, and of course one of them says, "That's not fair, Daddy."
Yeah, I think I was at a slight disadvantage, to be honest. But it is what it is.
Were you selecting movie players or movies?
Movies, baseball
Okay.
movies. And so here's the way I approached it. Because I knew he was going to put this online. And everyone on Twitter just is going to point out the one movie they like that you didn't pick, as opposed to maybe complimenting, oh, that's a good pick. They're just going to be critical because that's, what a stupid list, you idiots. That's usually what you get, as that's in for a strike. And so picking second, I'll give, well, how about this? I won't tell you whose picks were whose. And I will read the 5 each, and then you pick who had the best. But I will give a little bit of an explanation beforehand. Here comes the 1-1. That's in for a strike. We might have to continue this.
I think so, and I do want to continue it. But Ray with a really good pitch there, and this is another critical time here because of some 2-out lightning, which we saw earlier.
Yeah, 4 runs
Bottom
for
of the
Charleroi, all coming with 2 outs, and now Post trying to return the favor a little bit.
Well, I'll say this, Sean. Whoever picked Bull Durham was going to be my favorite pick.
So I went with, I wasn't trying to appease the mass audience.
Good for you.
I
You'll
was
be a good
picking
politician
movies
one
that
day.
I really enjoyed, even if they were lesser known than some big names out there.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go to movies I personally enjoyed more than what I thought was going to win, the audience over, as that throws well behind the shortstop Barrett.
And I
who's
like
breaking-
that there. No, I like it by Ray and Barrett, just trying to keep a step because we haven't seen balls hit deep. As we said, wind in a little, and the wooden bat's kind of knocking stuff down. So if you keep a step closer, get a little blooper in front, you might get a throw at home.
Runner from third goes. This one is hit out to center. Brightwell started back. Now he's got to come trekking in, and he puts it away to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, 2 left. As we head bottom 3, it's Charleroi 4, Falls nothing. We'll continue the first day of the Pennsylvania State Tournament for American Legion Baseball here on WSN.
Do you want it? Unmuted? Okay. Go ahead.
You gotta tell me, anybody takes pride in the game?
Hey everybody, we have an email to get to. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Mike. It's either Dia or Dea. Good luck, Falls. Post 834. Play like a dirtbag today. There you go. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate the email. If you'd like to get in touch with us, wish good luck to either team, a specific player, you can do that. Tell us where you're watching from. All you have to do is click on the email box, upper right-hand corner of your screen, fill that out, and we'll read your email live on the air. Also want to give a big shout-out to Elite Plumbing Kitchens and Baths in the Latrobe Route 30 Plaza, our presenting sponsor of our state tournament coverage all season long right here on WSN.
Thank you, Dan. As we head bottom 3, we'll come back a little bit early because I want to give
I'm
these
intrigued
lists
by
to you.
this.
Okay, so again, we get to pick 5 each. We'll say person A chooses the Sandlot, which that was one of the players' favorite movies that sparked this. 42, 61 with the asterisk.
So they take all the numbers.
Yes.
Okay.
Bull Durham.
Yes.
And Trouble with the Curve. Now, you were probably going to lose your mind. Those were in order, meaning Bull Durham was his 4th-round pick. Yes.
Who are these people?
I figured you would have that reaction.
You know, for all the parents out there, Bull
Leading
Durham.
off for Charleroi, number
Make sure I get to
19,
my point here.
Remy Lessman.
Bull Durham is a great movie to help parent off of. Our 2 daughters learned how to correctly put on their underwear by saying,
this one's hit down the right field line, and a diving effort to no avail. It is a foul ball. David with a spectacular effort, but could not make the catch, and so Cantini will return to the plate with the count 0-1 on him.
good, this will buy us some time. So I taught our daughters that you put your underwear on by knowing that the rose goes in the front, big guy. And that's how they learned it. So that's the first. That's interesting. Okay. What was the first overall pick, Sandlot?
Correction, now batting.
All right.
Number 9.
Person B,
Gianni Cantini.
in order of their picks. Moneyball, A League of Their Own, Rookie of the Year, Sugar, and Little Big League. As that one nearly hit Cantini, but he's able to elude it as the count goes 1-1. And person C,
Yes.
Field of Dreams,
Oh.
Major League,
Oh.
Angels in the Outfield, the second version, not the 1950s version, but
Right.
the Tony Danza version. Hardball,
Yeah.
and Major League 2.
No.
So they got both
No,
major
no.
leagues in there.
No.
Okay. So
So I'm going to say you were person B.
with the Moneyball League of Their Own Rookie of
Yes.
the Year, you are correct.
Josh Roundtree, person A.
False. As this one's hit off of the foot of Serenelli to
What a
the
great
shortstop. And that will go 1-6-3. What a play. Serenelli's ricochet to Spinks, and he throws across to Gilson to retire Cantini for the first out.
And Cantini came up limp.
Now batting. Number 13.
So that's why they're going to come out and check on him.
Hunter.
Both
Mayne.
ways.
And he's got a big smile on his face, so I think he's indicating that he's okay.
Yeah.
And it looks as though the batter, Cantini,
Yeah, it looked like in the hamstring. The coach kind of saw it right away, the first
and
base
he actually
coach.
looks much more worse for wear than Serenelli, who took that one right off his heel.
And Charleroi only with 12 in uniform.
And he is holding, I think I don't want to speculate, but I believe he just said it popped.
Yeah, and
He
if it did, that's
he was
bad.
telling
Right.
one of his coaches. And so it looks like at this point they might be potentially trying to help him get off the field. He does not want to move any further at this point.
Well, if the ice comes out, that's about a wrap.
I think they're going to take that ice back to the dugout, and he is walking under his own power, but clearly in a lot of pain at this point, unfortunately. So a lot going on that play. It goes for the first out.
It goes down 1-6 to 3.
Serenelli, it appears, is just fine, but the same cannot be said for Cantini, and he is the right fielder. So to your point, we would certainly anticipate that Charleroi would have to make a substitution there.
Yeah. So read us, I think it's time to move on, but read us Roundtree's list.
He doubled up on Major League.
Blech.
So Field of Dreams, Major League, Angels in the outfield, Hardball, Major League 2.
Well, here's a good question. What movies were left off the list?
Well, the one that everyone lamented was The Natural.
Yeah.
And so I know that is regarded as one of the very best of all time, as that misses inside. Now, this is where you're going to get mad at me and you might storm off, and I hope you don't do that.
Will I still get paid?
Well,
or are we even getting paid? We may not even get paid.
Usually
we're not getting paid.
Yeah, usually it's some sort of hot dog or hamburger compensation.
Well, Flick,
I have some leftover French fries back here, Mark.
Is that the Wizard of Oz?
This one is pulled foul towards the trees. So I have seen when I actually did a basketball game with Lanny for Terry, and for people in this area, they recognize that name. He's
saw him a few
here.
weeks ago at a golf outing.
If you're from the other side of the state, you might not recognize his name. He was, 30 years plus, the Pirates broadcaster.
Yeah. Through the good years, and
Yeah, and I think he was around for the 79 World Series, I believe.
Yep.
And so he's moved on from Major League Baseball, and now he does a lot of high school stuff, and he's a college professor at Waynesburg and all these different things. But he's still very involved in broadcasting and athletics here in Pittsburgh. 1-2 pitch, and that's hit towards the parking lot. And so I did a state championship high school basketball game broadcast with Lanny, I don't know, maybe 7 years ago, up in Hershey. And he opened the broadcast by saying, "Sean, it feels just like the movie Hoosiers." And I had never seen the movie. And so it was just like a moment where I had this epiphany. That's hit pretty well out to left center, and that is gone. Mamie clears the fence. Absolutely smoked as he extends the lead. It's now 5-0.
And Mamie, if you remember, picked off the inning before. So to redeem himself, I'm sure he's excited. And
that was absolutely clobbered by Mamie. He's got himself a 2-for-2 performance. He was tied for the team lead with 13 RBIs coming in. Well, you could tack on one more to his ledger there. So
you never saw Hoosiers?
Yes, and so I was like, you know what? I have to make a concerted effort to start watching these legendary sports movies. As that's in for a strike from Serenelli, who maybe could be seeing his afternoon coming to an end sooner rather than later. So I went and I just pulled up these lists, best movies, sports movies, all this, and went through, and especially during COVID, I was watching them quite a bit. As that gets past the third baseman Picker, who is playing in on the grass. And so that's a base hit.
I think you're going to rule that a hit.
Yep. Well, he was playing in. If he's at his traditional spot, probably a little bit more routine, but that was well hit. So I had seen all these great baseball movies, and that included The Natural. That included Bull Durham. I intentionally did not include them on my list despite seeing them, because there's just other movies, especially ones that I watched growing up, that I more gravitated to. So I could have picked either one of those, and I knew that would have curried favor. I also could have picked the Bad News Bears. Thought about that one, as that's in for a strike. Now, that's the original.
The original,
with Walter Matthau.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Sugar?
No.
See, a lot of people don't know that movie. I thought it was outstanding. And so it's a little bit more recent, but it really profiles like a foreign-born player. I believe maybe he was Dominican, but one of those countries, like a third world country where they grow up playing baseball, and then they come to America, and it really profiles how it's not just learning how to play baseball at the highest level, but the culture shock. He didn't even know how to order food because of the language barrier, and so the only thing he knew how to order, I believe, was pancakes. And so for like a month straight, he ordered pancakes because he literally knew that was the only thing he could order. This one gets to the backstop, and that wild pitch allows an advancement for Ray. It was really eye-opening in terms of everything that goes into baseball that does not take place on the field.
That would be. Yeah. Another one, and I don't know if anybody's familiar with it, 8 Men Out.
Yes. Yep. That's
I
about the
really
White
like
Sox.
8 Men Out.
You know what movie I did
Yeah.
like that was not well acclaimed at all? It was a bomb at the box office. Is the movie Caught with Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting. It was kind of quirky.
Similar era. Yeah. Yeah, 8 Men Out is one I saw as a kid, and it's if I see it on, I'll still watch parts
That's about
of it.
Shoeless Joe, right? Yep. And
Correct, and the
how
Black
he really
Sox.
was not implicit, but he was still, I guess, guilty by association.
Yeah.
As that misses. Oh, my mistake. That's a strike to make the count 1 and 2. So the internet was kind of mixed on who the winner was. Callis got a lot of votes, but then some said, Mark Cabali in particular, said that Trouble with the Curve is maybe the worst baseball movie ever made. So that kind of eliminated Callis's. And then I think doubling up on Major League was kind of that was kind of a
If
a
it's not
miscalculation.
Rocky, there are very few sports movies that got better as they went on.
The 1-2. This one's bounced to short. And Spinks throws across, and that is in time. Moving up to third on the play is Ray. There's now a couple of down here in the inning. 5-0 Charleroi in front.
And for what it's worth, Spencer Barrett getting loose near the bullpen, not in it.
Now,
Speculation.
Number 24.
Maybe he's taken over for Cantini,
Lorenzo
depending
Glasser.
on the injury status. After we saw him come up lame there. Glasser, a great job the last inning, kind of extending the beginnings of what turned out to be a 4-run rally. And
Well, and remember, when you can keep an inning going or work a long at bat, it takes a toll on the opposing pitcher.
Absolutely.
And you think about, okay, we want to win this game. But if we can really get that pitch count up for the opposition, that hinders that entire team going forward.
yeah, especially in the format we have, the double elimination, it just
Where you
has
could
a
see this
cumulative
team
effect.
again, potentially.
That's exactly right.
So there's a lot of value in really getting to a pitcher early, or at least taxing that pitcher in terms of his pitch count.
And then on the other end for Falls, this could be one of those, hey, Gianna, you've already burned a day or two. Just stay out there and get us as many innings as you can.
Right.
We have not seen an arm warm up. That doesn't mean they couldn't bring one in. I mean, it's July. These arms get loose quick, but they could just let him go ahead and eat as many innings as he can.
Yeah, it's a tough decision because you're down 5 runs, but you're not even halfway through the game. And if you think you have a legitimate chance to win this game still, you have to do whatever you can to do that, as the count's now 3-1. One of the issues earlier for Serenelli is that he gave a lot of free passes between the walks and the hit batters. He hit a couple and walked 3, but this inning it's just been some well-hit balls. 3-1. This is hit out to shallow right. David coming in, and it falls in front of him, and that will score a run. But 2 outs, thought maybe that was one that he would try to lay out for, but deemed that he would not be able to get there. And another blooper, this time by Glasser, makes it 6-0.
Now batting number
I think
28.
we have some rain, Sean.
Yes,
Barrett.
which is a little surprising.
Yeah, where's the rainbow at?
It's still fairly bright skies right now.
Huh.
Well, get
Yeah.
the umbrella for our cameras.
Yeah, David, it seemed to take an odd path here at that ball, and then it just fell right in front. And to your point, it could be one you lay out on with 2 outs. But regardless, another run for Charleroi.
And that's behind the batter. And so there's different scenarios where you have to immediately gauge. Once the ball is hit, you have, maybe 2 seconds at most if you're an outfielder to kind of figure out how you need to approach it.
That's
But
right.
if that falls in, it's guaranteed to score a run.
Absolutely.
And it's hit so softly that it won't get past you significantly.
Right.
Whereas some balls that are hit on a line, you dive for. If you miss it, it might be an inside the park home run.
Correct.
That's probably a single no matter what, unless you catch it.
Yep.
But it's easy for us to say up here, obviously, you know, and I think we have seen, whether it's the wind blowing in or just the ball not traveling that well today, a lot of bloopers have fallen in front of the outfielders.
Yeah, it's been interesting. You can see the outfield spots are pretty worn in, and you know, right now these outfielders are just a hair behind it. But it feels like they do have room in front of them to come after some balls.
Yeah. Especially that was the number 9 hitter. This one's hit through the right side, and a good hesitation by the runner Glasser as David's throw comes into second, and it is the 4th hit of the inning for Charleroi. And we should note there is a run rule in effect once you get to 5 innings if you're up by 10 runs. Now, there's a long way to go both in terms of the margin and the innings that would need to be played. But if you're Charleroi, what a boon that would be if you can save 2 innings of pitching potentially.
Absolutely. And Brightwell was the big man last inning, correct?
2-run single.
Yep, to score these two. No, to score Glasser and Henderson.
Yeah, correct. And now timeout. And then Shields had his own 2-run single that brought home Chad Barrett and Brightwell. Just flick out of here. Is that him?
Good riddance.
Yeah.
He just sits back there and punches on the computer and eats French fries.
Swing and a miss. Doesn't even properly close the door. Yeah.
Well, Kelly could confirm that, his lovely bride. No, all joking aside, Dan does a wonder. This whole team here for Westmoreland Sports.
He is basically going to be living at Rosa-Oglietti this week. He is producing, at least the plan as of now, every single broadcast. So while you and I are doing 2 games today, Flick had all 4. He'll be doing all 4 tomorrow. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. There he is. Count 1-1, couple on. Charleroi has already tacked on 2 more to make it 6-0 here in the bottom of the 3rd. That's well hit out to center and deep. And that is gone, a 3-run homer as Brightwell brings them all around, and Charleroi has broken this completely open.
And what's remarkable, Sean, is Brightwell only came in with 6 RBI and 69 at-bats. He has 5 and 3 at-bats here today. Swinging a hot bat, and a lot of this damage again, Sean, with 2 outs. And Charleroi really been able to take advantage of that.
And now, if they do keep Serenelli in, I think at this point, you know, the outcome is, I don't want to say it's 100% decided, but certainly seems out of reach. And it might be an approach that, hey,
eat the innings.
We need you to go now. And that might do it for his availability this week, but they wouldn't have to potentially use anyone, and we'll have everyone at their disposal, as that was a swing by Shields. Now, again, it's 9-0. We mentioned there's a 10-run rule that could come into play after 5 innings. So we got a ways to go before that. Strike, and obviously Falls is going to do everything it can to try to extend this game and to make sure it does not end prematurely.
Let's go, let's go, boy. You see where it says that lawn care, Latrobe, right over that.
Great
Swing
pitch.
and a miss. Yeah, there's the curve. Serenelli gets Shields, but the damage done. 5 runs come across in the frame, courtesy of 5 hits, no one left on base. We head to the 4th. It is 9-0 Charleroi, and the State American Legion tournament here on the Westmoreland Sports Network.
Number 6, Spencer Barron is going in. He would be second.
We have 6 for 9.
Thanks, sir.
Is a third. Yeah, that's the move.
Second to right. Spencer Barrett.
So let me look at the right side here. Yeah, that's correct. And then after he's
Leading off for Falls, number 8, Ryan.
Defensive changes for Charleroi as Lorenzo Glasser from second out to right. Spencer Barrett enters the game, taking over at second. And Glasser moved out to right because Cantini out of the game with what we suspect is a hamstring injury, as this one's out of play off the bat of Kavanaugh.
And we have the double play duo of the Barrett brothers.
Yeah.
Their father, John, I saw earlier, principal at Fort Allen Elementary in the Hempfield Area School District. And our daughters have had the pleasure of having him. Wonderful man and wonderful principal.
Okay, I'll take it.
52.
That misses. Here in the top of the fourth, it is all Charleroi, the Region 6 champion, up 9-0 over Region 3 winner Falls.
And that was Ray's 54th pitch of the outing.
And so again, the notable threshold is if he goes to 61, then he would need 3 days rest and would not be eligible until Friday, which is scheduled to be the final day of this tournament. So I would think that they might get him out before then.
Could. Yeah. And Falls has some action down in the bullpen. Kevin Pickard.
Yes.
Down there warming up.
2-2. To third, but foul.
Falls has a new third base coach.
So I saw him in pregame, and he had the coolest bat I've ever seen in my life. It looked like a pencil with an eraser on the top of it. I've never seen anything like it. So that's fouled out of play. Count 2-2. Do you know what my favorite part of Little Big League is that made it one of my draft picks for my movie draft for baseball? Is this one's hit to third and a throw over and plenty of time.
Go ahead and tell everybody. Act like I don't know, and you just go ahead and tell everyone.
Well, you probably know who my favorite Major League team is. Do you?
Mariners.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wilson.
And so you could probably guess why I became a Mariners fan, is I think we are going to get the pitching change here. And so it appears as though Ray's afternoon might be done, or at least not now, probably pretty darn soon. They're looking out to left field.
And so this would, Sean, just review, if he comes out, when can he come back?
So depending on what his number is, if he's shy of 61, meaning if he's between 46 and 60, which I believe he is,
yeah.
he would need 2 days rest, meaning that he could pitch Thursday.
Yeah.
Now, you're not even guaranteed to be playing Thursday,
Sure.
but it's better to have him available potentially Thursday as opposed to Friday if he just throws a few more pitches.
And just for clarification, that's a hard 61. That's not a finish the batter 61.
Well, that would...
That's cool.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's a
Hey
hard
guys, am I allowed to
61.
read an email? If I can talk, it'd be a little easier.
Yeah, go ahead, I guess.
Thanks. Let's get to Aaron Wallace. Good luck, Falls and Wyatt, in the tournament. Watching from Levittown, Pennsylvania, from Aunt Linda and Uncle Aaron. There you go.
Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome, Sean.
It looks like Glasser, who we talked about, one of their best arms, might be heading into the mound here.
Now, there is, and I don't know all the specifics of this, but you can bring a guy back without any days rest if he goes under the first threshold of 31 pitches, but you can't do that every single day of the tournament. You understand? So you can't pitch a guy 25 pitches Monday, 25 Tuesday, 25 Wednesday. Believe you can do back-to-back days and then would need a rest after that.
So Shields to the mound.
Now pitching for Charleroi, number 8.
And so with that comes, of course, equipment changes. As Shields is handing off some
You know
of
what?
his
I'll
equipment.
just let you, Sean, give all the changes all at once.
Wonderful. So, yeah, Shields from third to the mound.
Barrett from second to third. Spencer
That's
Barrett.
being Spencer, yes. And so does Ray.
Ray to right field. Glasser,
And then Glasser
back
comes
to second.
back to second. All right.
24 is now in.
So they're making us do a little bit of work here, but that's okay.
What was that official pitch count for Ray?
And now they're going to
58.
58?
Yeah.
cross their T's and dot their I's.
58 for Ray.
Yeah.
And so Ray exits with 58 pitches.
Very, very fascinating. Just the gamesmanship in the staff, pitching staff management.
And when you see that you're up 9 runs,
It gives you a little more room for error.
yeah, you
right?
don't want to continue to use a pitcher that you might want to have back within a few days.
And Shields has thrown 33 innings on the season. He's a perfect 5-0 with a save. The walks are really low at only 6 walks in 33 innings. And over a strikeout an inning for him as well. A minuscule or a microscopic 1.27 ERA. But the kids nowadays talk about things like whips.
Yeah. I didn't finish my story. It wasn't that great. But
Go on, Sean.
So I'm a Mariners fan. I became a Mariners fan because of Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah, which is easy to do.
Have you seen Little Big League? It's the
I
kid-
don't know it.
He
Yeah.
manages the Twins. He becomes
Yes.
the owner of the Twins and
Yes.
then manages the Twins.
Yes.
Do you remember how that movie ends? As that's in for a strike to Gilson.
No.
So the main character, who was like dating the kid's mom and whatnot, he's the good guy in it, even though the kid doesn't like him for periods of time. Looks like Mark McGuire, by the way. Crushes a ball that's going to win the game. Griffey climbs the wall, pulls it back, and the Mariners win. So he ruins the good guy's storybook ending.
Wow.
And this was off of Randy Johnson, who came on in relief, by the way. So the fact that Griffey and the Mariners win this makes it, for multiple reasons, more important to me.
Yes.
In addition to being a movie that I watched growing up,
Yes.
mid-'90s. So that had to be the pick for me to finish.
Well, that
this up.
makes perfect sense now.
And it's one of those things, just because it's a movie, as that bounces, where they show Griffey like 4 different shots of him running in the outfield, all like Mr. Perfect throwing the football pass to himself, where he's running for legitimately like
Yes.
300 feet to get to this ball. As look out, that one is hammered foul on the first base side. Good thing coaches wear the helmets nowadays, because that was a screamer. Did not hit the first base coach, but awfully close. Tommy Lasorda, I think, got hit one time, and they put that
In an
rule
all-star game.
Yeah. Was that in Seattle?
That I don't know.
I want to say it was 0-1 in Seattle.
He was the third base coach. I know that.
Cal Ripken's final all-star game. This one's bounced to first. Lessman with a nice play, and he'll take it himself for out number 2.
Great job by Lessman there. Really, really good job of defending that ground ball there at first base. And one batter, one out.
So this was the spot that Hoffman batted initially.
Now batting,
He was quickly
number
replaced
33,
by Begley.
John Begley.
So we'll see John Begley bat for the first time.
But for some reason, Glasser was only listed. So I don't know.
That's in for a strike.
No, that made a change or
Oh, that's
they put somebody
So
in
they
there.
moved and then they moved.
This one's hit out to left. Henderson ranging over near the line, puts it away. How about a 1-2-3 frame for Ray and Shields, who took over in his place. Side retired. We head to the bottom of the 4th inning. It is 9-0 Charleroi in front of Falls here on WSN.
calling this in.
Shields came in with the second batter that inning, right?
So you said he ended up with 74?
72.
Okay. Pickard. And Pickard, the third baseman, is now pitching.
9.
Nine went to third, which will be in the DH spot.
They would
Yeah,
lose the
right,
DH,
right.
that's correct.
That would, so unless they made an additional change we don't see, that would go in the file.
So it's Matt Black.
Yes.
It's not like what he is.
Oh, yeah.
They lose the DH.
And the new pitcher goes into the and what happens?
Once he's in the game, he's out.
Hey, we're dropping the DH.
Yep.
9 is in for 8.
9 for 8.
Nine is in for 8. Okay.
It remains 9-0. Charleroi up big.
Leading off for Charleroi.
To the bottom of the fourth.
Number 19.
Sean Myers joined by Mark Katarski.
Remy
Third game of the
Lessman.
opening day of the 5-day extravaganza that is the State American Legion tournament here at Rosa-Oglietti Park in Latrobe, right on the border of Derry. Charleroi looking to improve to 18-3 on the campaign. And we have a pitching change as Kevin Pickard takes over. Now, Sarinelli had a rough go of it, but to his credit, he was able to get through that final inning.
And you can kind of see what Falls is doing. Pickard, 6 innings on the year, so not a ton. Does have a decision. But this is a way of managing innings and pitches.
Just popped out of play. Lessman at the dish. All right, so one of the nicknames for Lessman is Panda. He's a Ringgold guy. As the sun's shining a little bit here.
Who was the Kung Fu Panda, the baseball player? Sandoval? Or-
Yeah, Pablo Sandoval,
Yeah.
big third baseman.
Yeah.
Now he's also a basketball fan, and I believe he plays basketball at Ringgold. And so his favorite professional athlete is Nikola Jokic.
It's a pretty good one to have.
Yeah, recently captured NBA championship. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Favorite TV show, The Office.
Yeah, that's a good one. I don't know it like I know others, but The Office is
You've
a
already
really
made
wonderful-
multiple Seinfeld references today as this is fouled back.
Yeah, The Office is really good.
I've never seen it.
Really?
Yeah. So I told you I had to catch up on all these movies, but TV shows, not so
That's a
much.
separate category.
Yeah,
for
well,
you?
TV shows, I mean, especially, how many seasons do you think The Office has had?
Oh,
I mean, to legitimately watch that, because I'm OCD enough that if I watch it, I'm going to watch all of it, as this one sneaks through out to right, and so Lessman is aboard for the second time.
well, if we had another pandemic, then you could get caught up.
That's a good point. That's a
Yeah.
good point.
I don't really want one, but
But yeah, so I was like, you know what? I'm
Next
better
up,
served to
number
watch
6,
100
Spencer
movies as opposed to
Barrett.
like 5 TV shows.
yeah, that's a fair point. So this is unique here. They made the pitcher take off a sleeve on his arm because they said it's either none or both. And now they're actually going to bring the second sleeve back on. Oh boy,
You gotta feel comfortable out there, right?
I guess.
So there's one. Where's the other one? His
Coach has it.
coach is awaiting the right sleeve to be properly placed.
What does this stuff do? I mean, I'm not trying to sound old.
I'm sure you have many players who utilize stuff like that, right?
I guess. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Oh, there's the fungo bat. Put that on, Dan. Are you in charge of the mechanics there?
It's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
That's going to force me to think of other ideas that you could make a bat into.
There are several.
Yes.
If
anyone has any suggestions that are appropriate to say over the air,
tweet
feel
at
free.
us.
Yeah, well, they can email us.
Or email.
And that's why Dan's got his microphone back there in his little office. That's all he's really doing back there, I think.
Just call me Michael Scott.
It's an office reference.
There you go.
There you go.
Get those 2 sleeves and get a strike. Maybe I need 2 sleeves when I play golf. Maybe that's what's holding me
Yeah.
back.
That's what Paul Alexander told me. That misses high. This is Spencer Barrett batting for the first time. Oh, we're getting more information coming as we speak. As that's in for a strike. All right, so I have Chad Barrett's info, but that's not going to help. We need to find Spencer's. This is fouled back.
This is his first at bat. Spencer was a injury replacement for Gianni Cantini.
Man, I'm really scrolling here. All right, so he's got a lot of question marks on his. Favorite high school memory is starting a WPIAL playoff game at Ringgold. Favorite professional athlete, Bo Bichette. Now,
I remember his dad.
Yeah, Dante.
Yeah.
I should point out that Bo Bichette's Blue Jays lost their weekend series in Seattle against the Mariners.
Well, Mariners fans rejoice.
Step Brothers, his favorite movie.
Good one.
That bounces, and now a chance for advancement and a strong throw, but the tag is missed. And so Lessman advances on a wild pitch. As well, Nelson showing the cannon there, but
I agree. I thought Nelson made that closer than what it appeared to be.
okay, so favorite type of music. This is a little bit of a contrast. Rap and country.
See, that's me. I'll listen to both.
And then, I guess, corresponding to that, favorite music group or artist, Morgan Wallen and Kanye.
See, I didn't think you could say Kanye or R. Kelly anymore. I thought those were banned from being favorites. Morgan Wallen's great. He has some great songs.
Some would say that he could be banned too, but
Yeah, the original Kanye, I really liked his stuff.
he was the first concert I ever went to.
Wow. Through the wire. Because he had his jaw wired shut, and that was it.
This was when he was coming out with Gold Digger. That was when I saw him. Nobody out, runner in scoring position, and a payoff pitch forthcoming to Spencer Barrett from Pickard. That misses, ball 4. And so this is a notable inning here for Charleroi in the sense that they want to get, obviously, plenty of runs, but if they get one more run,
Now batting,
they have a chance
Number
the next
13,
half inning to end this game.
Hunter Mamie.
No, it's very, there's a lot of strategy involved. It's almost a situation where you could see a bunt and it's not, being disrespectful because you just want to move guys up and try to get them in and end the game.
That said, with the guy who just crushed one over the fence, I'd probably let him swing
I'd let
away.
him swing too, yeah.
As Mamie comes up empty, third consecutive inning that he's batted. That's
Guys,
usually
I
a
have an
good
email.
sign.
Can I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Lori Mills says, Bugs all day, go Wyatt, go Falls, from Aunt Lore in Langhorne, PA. P.S. Sean and Mark, what about Bang the Drum Slowly?
That was also mentioned quite a bit, and I have seen that movie. It's a Robert De Niro movie, I believe, as that's a swing and a miss. I have seen a ridiculous number of sports and baseball movies.
Does The Fan count as a baseball movie?
That's the Stalker one, right?
Yeah, De Niro and Snipes.
So I actually don't think I've seen that. This one is bounced to short. Maybe a
Good shot
chance
here.
for 2. Not in time, so they'll simply get the force out at second. So Lessman moves to third. And Mamie reaches. Spencer Barrett is eliminated.
You know, playing off of what we talked about with the run rule, this is truly a
Now
situation
batting,
for
number
Falls.
17, Ashton Ray.
Do you bring infielders in here? You know?
Yeah, I mean,
it's
if
just
you want to continue this game.
correct.
Now, here's a weird way of looking at it. I don't think managers probably will approach it like this. Certainly they wouldn't publicly say that they would. Is that the strike? If you truly believe that it's a lost cause, you're almost better for the game to end early as well.
No question. That's the other side of it.
But I don't think you want your players seeing that you as a manager have kind of given
Agreed.
up. As that's fouled off.
Now, in fairness, they could feel like, hey, we think we can get a double play here with Ray. And then if you do, great. You know, they may be also thinking Lessman's wheels with 1 out. He stays there. But, no, these are all things you have to think about.
Swing and a miss. That's a big strikeout as Pickard gets Ray to wave at it for out number 2. And now a real chance for Pickard to get out unscathed.
Now batting,
By
number
the way,
2,
so because
Ross
I knew there was going to be 15
Henderson.
movies selected, I had to have at least 15 on my list, just in case.
Correct.
And so I actually made 16, because the bottom 2, as this is bounced to short, not going to be an easy play, but circling around it is Spinks, and he gets it there in plenty of time. And a 0 up on the board. No runs, 1 hit, 2 left. We head to the 5th. It is Charleroi up 9-0 over Falls for the state tournament. American Legion Baseball continues on Westmoreland Sports.
It's Pickard. There's a message. When they made all those changes. Yeah, sure. You got it right. Whatever looks like. So this is Charlotte. So now
We head to the 5th inning, 9-0 Charleroi over Falls. Sean Myers, Mark Katarski here, and Jacqueline Pickard has sent an email. It's actually a fun fact email.
Let's go.
It is about Kevin Pickard. The 6th innings he pitched for us was after 1 year of not pitching due to breaking his elbow while pitching last year. He was casted for 6 weeks, did physical therapy, so it was his first official game back from injury.
Well, good for you, Kevin. And that may further explain, in fairness, the sleeves, just to kind of keep those things warm and help him with it. Wow, great comeback for him from some adversity, and that's wonderful.
It is, I mean, I don't think it's a secret. Pitching is really hard on your body because it's not natural to be throwing,
natural at all.
1, that fast, that hard, and 2, curveballs and sliders and things
Now
of that
batting,
nature.
Yep.
number 12,
And so it's 8-9-1 in the batting order for Falls. They don't technically have to score a run here to keep this game going, but knowing that Charleroi is going to bat in the bottom half of this inning, it would probably be well advised for them to get something on the board, as there's a swing and a miss.
And he's got a purple bat here. It's like a big eggplant.
Yeah.
Did you guys do that for the meeting?
0-1. That's fouled back. So I was mentioning I had to compose a list just in case every other choice I had was taken. And so at the very end, I actually picked 2 movies that I don't think would be called baseball movies at all, but they involve enough baseball that I think that they could count.
Fair enough.
Naked Gun
Ah.
and Brewster's Millions.
Love it. Brewster's Millions, I love.
Called strike 3, and down goes Stover as Shields gets the punch out. And so they have enough baseball
Now batting, number
that
15.
I think you could claim.
Kevin.
And they are both legitimately great movies outside of the
Brewster's
baseball
Millions
aspect.
is wonderful. Yeah. And here's Pickard at the plate.
With the sleeves.
With the sleeves. And
he's got an elbow guard as well.
Yeah, which makes total sense now in the context of it.
First pitch ball. He's the number 9 hitter. Spinks, the top of the order, awaits on deck. That finds his zone. I don't know that I've seen any other Richard Pryor movies.
Trading Places.
Was Richard Pryor in that?
He was not in Trading Places. I had him and Eddie Murphy confused.
Come
Eddie
on,
Murphy
Mark.
was Trading Places.
They were mentioning Bingo Long in the Traveling All-Stars, which is another baseball movie.
Yeah.
1-2. That misses high. To the
He
count,
was
2-2.
really known for his stand-up routine.
Yes.
Richard Pryor. That was his moneymaker.
Swing and a miss. Pickard with a mighty hack comes up empty. And another strikeout for Shields.
Next up, number 6, Wyatt Spinks.
This is Spink's third time at the plate here today.
A couple of ground outs on his ledger, including one back to the pitcher. Well, if you're Shields here, you get this out, get into the dugout, and then hope that offensively 9-1-2 can push a run across and bring this game to an end. That finds the zone, 1-1.
And our next game will start at 7:05 Eastern.
And I believe
on
they
the
would not.
Superstation.
They would not move that up no matter what. I don't think.
No.
Okay. And I believe we're going to do an interview with the victorious team here. We'll pick a player. Or, is Rogers still around here? You can go wrangle up somebody as that one bounces.
Well, I think it's Colton Brightwell with 5 RBI to this point.
That probably is a good choice. 2-2. This one is bounced over the pitcher. And a nice play, not in time though. Chad Barrett did everything he could, as did Lessman with a nice athletic stretch, but just hit weakly enough that Spinks is able to beat it out.
It felt infield single off the bat, but Barrett did everything he could.
Now batting,
That
number
close,
1,
and
L.J. Nelson.
those of us that have worn the blue would refer to that as a whacker at first base, but the umpire in great position to make the call. And that'll go in the book as obviously an infield single.
There comes Nelson, who has been on in both of his plate appearances. Not his at-bats, but his
Correct.
plate appearances. Shows bunt, takes the first strike. That's because he's walked and been hit by pitch. Here at Rosa-Oglietti, border of Latrobe and Derry. Latrobe has many calling cards in terms of its fame.
Birthplace of Mark Kotarski amongst the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's maybe more of the infamous.
Or that's further
variety.
away. Okay. I didn't know how people received
But it
that.
is the birthplace of 2 absolute legends who unbelievably graduated Latrobe High School 1 year apart.
Yeah.
As that catches you into that corner. That being Mr. Rogers, Fred Rogers, and Arnold Palmer.
Yep.
1 year apart. I don't know who came first. I'm going to guess Mr. Rogers, but that's just speculating.
I don't either. And the Rogers, the McFeely family relations as well. You'll hear that name through Latrobe, the pool over there by Memorial Stadium. And Mr. Palmer, or Mr. P as some know
Now,
him
you said
locally.
you have never met him.
Never
but
formally
you were in
met
the
him.
same room as him.
And I think what he would be described locally is, just such a humble man, part of the community. I think that's how he was really received here locally. And just, as you hear local people refer to him as Mr. Palmer, I think that shows their reverence. But he certainly was a Latrobe, Western PA guy through and through, and a real anomaly in some ways in the sports world. Because remember, he was one of the first ones to really popularize sports marketing. And
yeah, he was a really, really
endorsements.
good golfer, but he was known more for
The Pennzoils and the different
just his
things.
personality.
Yeah,
and
the
things of that
Hertzes and
nature.
all of that. And But yeah, from all accounts, a wonderful man, and if you get a chance to get to the country club to see the memorabilia is just amazing.
Latrobe Country Club.
Yep.
Which, by the way, we are right by another Latrobe golf course, but it's not that one. It's the Latrobe Elks.
Which is a wonderful course.
A couple of courses here in Latrobe.
Yeah, and then let alone Laurel Valley, just right up the road, which has hosted majors and a Ryder Cup. And but yeah, Latrobe, and if you get...
Runner goes on the 2-2, and the throw is airmailed. That one almost made it to the center fielder on a line, so the stolen base for Spinks, and now the count's full to Nelson.
Interesting time to run there. I guess trying to move up for a base hit.
Now they want to check on the pitch
count here
for Shields.
Hold on.
Just want to confirm where he's at.
17,
We got
22,
29.
25,
28 or something.
20, 29. 29.
Right now he's at 29, right?
So he gets probably one more pitch here to render
Right now he's at 29.
his potential verdict on this at bat. Now, if it's fouled off or the inning continues, then speculating Shields might
This
exit.
is fascinating. And by the way, Falls with a new third base coach, or the old first base coach.
Keep him fresh over there.
I think you have to rotate him through.
Payoff. And that's foul.
And that may be his last pitch.
Yeah. And so it will be.
Fascinating.
And so now the way that I'm to understand this, if it ends with a walk or a strikeout, Shields will get the credit.
For the win.
No, I'm
Oh,
saying
for the batter.
for the walk or strikeout.
That's correct.
I believe. Now, if it's a single, I think it goes against or whatever. If the ball is hit in play, it goes against whoever replaces it. But a walk or a strikeout, I believe, would fall upon Shields.
Oh, I understand. It looks like Glasser's going to come to the mound. Huh.
Drop, man.
And Glasser, as we talked, has been a little bit of the workhorse on the mound for Charleroi.
And he has moved all over today. He's twice been at second base. He's
Now
been at
pitching
right field,
for Charleroi,
and now he will
number
pitch.
24,
Leads the
Lorenzo
team in
Glasser.
innings pitched, 36 2/3. Leads the team in strikeouts with 46.
Well, I bet you a nickel that he will not go above 30 pitches,
Absolutely.
no matter what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. And this again goes back to the idea they want to get this out, come in, score a run, and go eat some Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
Now, the rules are in place for obviously the right reasons. That said, I would just, as a common sense rule, say finish the at-bat,
Yeah.
because it is kind of a weird quirk to have to make these changes mid-at-bat.
Right.
And so if Shields could have stayed in, maybe he gets the out to end the inning, maybe he doesn't, but then you have a more traditional and true outcome for his pitching performance.
And Spencer Barrett back to second base.
It's very simple.
Okay,
Shields
so-
moved to third.
Shields is at third then.
Barron moved to second, and Glasser is now pitching.
See, you're smart. You have the eidetic memory that you could just know all this, whereas I have to use my eraser, write all this stuff down and erase it, and then write it back.
Just so smart, Sean. It's hard being me sometimes.
You and Johnny Lee, the two who can come with
yes, they are.
nothing other than
Our personality.
yes.
And there's your out.
There it is. And so, I think Shields gets the strikeout. Nonetheless, the inning ends. We head bottom 5. Charleroi up 9-0. A chance to win this one if they can get a run across here on WSN.
I got you.
No, wait, no, not there. Which is going to be Charleroi. Good fun. Last ball. Now you got an impact of number 6, what's his name? Barrett. Yeah. He's going to 6. Okay. And 24 down in the 9 spot, which is Lorenzo Glasser. But it's not, you have a 32. Well, we got to separate. It's got to be 2 initials.
We progress to the bottom of the 5th. Charleroi up 9-0 in the 3rd game of 4 on the opening day here of the 2023 American Legion Pennsylvania State Tournament. Hosted here in Latrobe, a first at every corner. That's the, I guess the...
Sean, we have an email.
No, Dan, go ahead.
I don't know if I should read it. I guess he actually came up with some good information here.
Okay.
Mr. Rogers graduated in 1946, Mr. Palmer 1947, courtesy of the sports guy. Woo! I think TJ likes it better when
Now
you
batting, number
Well, I guess
24, Lorenzo
Fred Rogers preceded
Glasser.
Arnold by a year. Could you imagine being classmates with both of them?
Incredible, hard to comprehend.
It'd be like being classmates with
Dan Flickinger,
Elias and Pat McAfee.
which some people at Plum did.
Yeah. So Arnold Palmer story real quick. And again, keep in mind, Charleroi wins this game with a run here. I met Arnold Palmer. And so I worked at the newspaper in Latrobe, the Latrobe Bulletin, as that's a foul ball. And so we typically had different things that we were assigned. So I covered like the Ligonier Valley School Board meetings and the Ligonier Township Municipal Authority and the Westmoreland County Commissioners. I didn't typically cover the Airport Authority, but I had to fill in one time. And so for those who don't know, there's an airport in Latrobe, which is the Arnold Palmer Regional Airport.
Yep.
And so the first time I ever had to cover this meeting is that just misses for ball 1 to Glasser. No joke. First time I ever went to that airport was covering this meeting. I get out of my car. Arnold Palmer gets out of his car right next to me.
Wow.
And it wasn't like he was with a, bodyguard. He literally got out of his car by himself right next to me. And I said, hey there, whatever. And then we went into did the meeting. And then a few months later, or maybe even the next year, I saw him again at one of these meetings. And it was like, as there's ball 3, maybe about 2 weeks to a month before the U.S. Open in Oakmont.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Which I went to because I lived in Plum, and so very, very close. I actually live in Oakmont, thereabouts now. And I talked to him, and I said, are you going to Oakmont? He said, oh, of course, I'm excited. As a swing and a miss. Although I believe it turned out that he was not able to go because of some physical limitations.
Correct.
And then I don't think he was with us
Correct.
much beyond that,
Number
unfortunately.
28,
Correct.
Chad Barrett.
So Pickard gets the strikeout of Glasser.
Let's go, Chad.
Yeah, that's exactly the timeline.
Back to the top of the order for Charleroi. And that is smoked out to left, and it falls in front of Stover for a one-out single for Chad Barrett. Third time he's been on base.
And Colton Brightwell may
Now
have
batting,
to
number
report
10, Colton Brightwell.
to the people at Teal because I see a TC on his helmet here.
Hey, Colt.
Oh, they got to be loving his performance today. 2-run single, 3-run homer, 2 for 3, 5 RBIs. He would love to get one more and put an exclamation point on this victory. It would become official with a run here in the 5th inning. Hits that well. It is deep, and it is off the fence, and so it will go as an incredibly long single, and because the runner, Barrett, really didn't have a great read on it, he only gets the second.
Next up,
And now a timeout. I think a couple more degrees on the launch angle, that's a home run.
Yeah, and you get it a little bit with Barrett, but you don't. You know, fly ball to center, you want to get about halfway because especially going over his head.
Yeah.
But he just got kind of stuck up on it, and I understand it because it felt line drivey, and the result is just a single. I don't know that Brightwell would have got the second on the hit.
Right.
But you would assume Barrett could have got the third.
Yeah, and that does make a difference because it's a one-out scenario. If you have a runner on third, completely changes how everything could play out.
Yep.
Although Shields can make it a moot point here as he takes ball one. Lessman on deck if this inning continues. Shields has had a 2-run single himself today. Called strike. To the count 1-1. Latrobe and Wesleyville, the final game, as timeout called, of the first day. 7:05 start time scheduled. Latrobe is the host. So there'll be some home cooking for the Jethawks potentially. That's inside. Ball two. Charleroi finished as the runner-up in the state tournament in 1984. It's a long time ago. Two one. Look out. That one up in the grill of Shields. As he now gets some words of encouragement from his third base coach.
The outfield just a little beyond the holes there in the outfield. Trying to keep it in front of them, presumably.
Shields headed to Allegheny College. As there's a strike. He wasn't big on filling out this questionnaire, but he did note that he was a 3-sport athlete. Baseball, basketball, football.
Good for him. What high school?
Ringgold.
There you go.
Wait, I think Ringgold. Now I'm second guessing that. Oh, nope, he didn't mention it.
So he went to a high school?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
We've got it narrowed down to Ringgold, Charleroi, or Bentworth.
Okay.
Do you know the mascot for Bentworth?
Bentworth is the Bobcats?
I believe it's Bearcats.
Bearcats. Charleroi are the Cougars.
Yep.
And Ringgold are the Rams.
Mm-hmm. Going with alliteration.
There you go.
Timeout. You know, back many moons ago, the first writing job that I had in Pittsburgh, in which I got paid for at least, was with the Tribune Review, and the first ever high school football game I covered was at Charleroi.
Huh.
And I went to the high school. There's no field there.
Yeah.
It was down by the river at the time, although I believe they've changed schools or fields since then. Hit out to center, and the catch is made by Begley for out number 2.
Well, I think Remy Lessman would make some friends here if he were to find a ball to land in the outfield.
Yep. By the way, you might be happy to hear that Charleroi lost that game.
Now batting, number 19,
Vikings.
Yeah.
Remy Lessman.
Could really make some friends here, Remy, if you're able to get a hit, but no pressure.
He smokes that one, and that is a fair ball. And that might do it as here comes Barrett. He makes the turn, and he scores. And that will do it. So a walk-off game-winning double by Lessman brings home Barrett. And the 10-run mercy rule is enacted, and Charleroi wins this one going away. And Mark, really, not only an impressive showing today, but that's really going to set them up well potentially for the next handful of days.
They managed the pitchers artfully, skillfully, especially in light of how the game went, and able to get some 2-out hitting to get them over the hump. Good start for Charleroi, one of the more local teams, as you said, in the tournament, and Falls not done yet, still have a game to play tomorrow.
And so this one ends in 5. The final score 10-0. The final line, no runs, 3 hits, and 1 error for Falls. As a result, Falls falls to 17-5-1. And Charleroi 10-11-0. Hit it well, pitched it well, fielded it well. They are now 18-3 in a dominant start to finish performance. We'll step aside briefly. We will have a post-game interview upcoming, hopefully with Colton Brightwell. Certainly we will have one of the Charleroi standouts come up and join us, and then we'll get you set for the final game of the night. But for now, it is a 10-0 5-inning victory for Charleroi over Falls right here on the Westmoreland Sports Network.
The winning number 0-0-0-1-5-3-0-0-0-1-5-3. You can get your winnings at the concession stand. Jason, you're the home team, right?
No,
You're the visitor.
we're visitor, but we're in this dugout.
Gotcha.
So it'll be perfect. It'll be just like the other game where it's going to be
Turned on?
Yeah, see it's LA and the second one's LA. 24 is LO. 24 is just L. Oh, do I need to get out right? If you could slide, please. Yep. Yep. 24 is L. 32. Okay, 24 is Paul. Look at this game. Come over this way.
Sean Myers now joined. There we go. Sean Myers now joined by one of the heroes, one of the many heroes for Charleroi, and it's 10-0 victory over Falls to open day one of the American Legion State Tournament here in Latrobe. It is Colton Brightwell, who had 3 hits, 5 RBIs in his victory, punctuated by a 3-run homer. Obviously, you were a big part of the offensive output, but your entire team got it done offensively. What allowed your team to have such great success with the bats here today?
Yeah, all year we were just looking forward to getting here and not backing down any opponent and making sure that we can have good ABs, not swinging at bad pitches, and just putting the ball in play and getting on base.
I'm guessing at this point of the season, maybe you know Latrobe and some of their kids, but other than that, you're probably seeing teams that you're not very familiar with, including Falls. When you don't have much of a scouting report, certainly no familiarity with the opponent, does it change how you approach things at all?
No, I've been facing pitchers I haven't seen my whole life, so I just stay the same approach every time. Maybe if I know the guy, I know his stuff, sit back on more pitches, but just staying short to the ball and getting the ball in play is my main goal.
3-run homer, as I mentioned, in the 3rd inning. That was part of a 5-run outburst in that frame. Take me through that at bat and how you had that success.
Yeah, so I swung I think a changeup in the low in the dirt, and I was thinking I have to be more patient here. Try and get this run in. We only had like a 5-0 lead, maybe 6-0 lead at that point. So I took another fastball. I got another fastball I can like, and I just stayed short with it, took it up center field, and able to get it out.
I would think that obviously this one was kind of determined once you got beyond that 3rd inning, but to end it in 5 innings probably has to really help your cause going forward because you saved potentially 2 innings of pitching. How important was it for your team to finish this one early?
Oh, it's huge. We lost one of our best pitchers, pulled his hamstring at first base. We got plenty of guys on the roster that can throw, plenty of guys that can get the ball over the plate and pitch well, and it's huge just safe pitching for this game, for upcoming games.
When did you know that this could be a team that has a special season and makes a deep run?
We lost the first game of the year to an opponent that we maybe shouldn't have lost to. Started winning some games on a win streak, and it was about the midpoint. I'm like, okay, we have a really strong pitching staff. We maybe gave up maybe 0, 1, 2 runs every game, and able to hit the ball, get enough runs to win these games. And I was like, we have a pretty special team here.
Is it a little bit of a benefit that this is in Western Pennsylvania, and I would assume for most of your team less than an hour, maybe even 30-minute drive or so out here?
Yeah, it's about like a 50-minute drive out here. It's easy, nice commute, so being able to play teams around here is pretty cool.
And you and your teammates are going back home then and staying at home overnight?
Yeah, we've been commuting. So I think some guys are staying in a hotel, not the one they provide, but some are staying, but I've been commuting just every day.
You were already a college player, is that correct?
Yeah, I play baseball for Teal College. It's up by Erie, Pennsylvania.
In the PAC.
Yep.
How much of an advantage is that to play collegiately and now come back and go against, while some of these are college age, some of them are still high school age players as well?
Yeah, it gives you a pretty big advantage because you're facing guys in the pack that can pretty throw like upper 80s, maybe a 90 every once in a while, and being able to have that experience at the college level, bringing it here to help my team win is pretty special for me.
Lastly, I know you guys are going to enjoy this one, but how do you make sure that you keep it up tomorrow and beyond?
Just got to think forward and make sure that we don't get ahead of ourselves and make sure that we are prepared for the next opponent and just don't think them lightly. Just every game, every step of the way is full force from here on out.
Well, congrats on this victory, on the great individual performance as well. Go enjoy this one.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Colton Brightwell, victorious Charleroi wins this one 10-0 here on the Westmoreland Sports Network.
Yeah, but he
All right, we appreciate him taking the time. We'll put a bow on this one. Once again, the final score 10-0. Charleroi claims the victory over Falls, and Charleroi moves on to the winner's bracket. And so both these teams will play again tomorrow, but the winner's bracket, so this is game 3. The winner tomorrow will play at 4:05, so that's when Charleroi will take the field. And the Falls team will play early in the morning, 10:15. And so they will have a quick turnaround, try to get this one washed away, come back with a different performance tomorrow. That'll do it for the 3rd game of 4 to be played here today on the opening day of the American Legion State Tournament. We'll have Wesleyville and Latrobe to wrap things up, scheduled in about 55 minutes, 7:05, the designated first pitch time. We'll have that on the Westmoreland Sports Network as well. But for now, for producer Dan Flickinger and my colleague Mark Katarski, Sean Myers signing off. In 5 innings, Charleroi wins this one over Falls, 10-0. Thank you so much for tuning into our coverage today and all week long of the Pennsylvania American Legion State Baseball Tournament. It's right here on the Westmoreland Sports Network.